Recording. Hold on one second.
Well, it looks like Mitch is having technical difficulties over there. So, hey, good morning, everybody. So, this is, like I said earlier, for those of you who just came on, this is a training that we do at Century 21 Jordan Link. And for the longest time that I can remember, over a year, we've always just opened it up if anybody would like to attend in the Century 21 franchise, because what we cover during the MoxiWorks hours, every tool that we utilize is something that you guys utilize. So going into the holiday season, I'm like, okay, I know that Real Satisfied has upped their widget to add on to onto your website for your Real Satisfied feed, which is kind of cool. So you don't have to use a third party. The only problem currently at the moment is we're gonna have to wait till next Wednesday so you can add that widget to your website because the websites are being migrated. So what that means is the servers that the Moxie websites are on currently, they're moving every one of your accounts, every brokerage website, even though the consumer can still see it, you can't access the backend to Google Cloud Service. So what that will actually mean to you guys at the end is hopefully your websites will load faster. That is the end result. Plus, moving it to Google Cloud Service allows MoxiWorks to scale and add more websites and do whatever they need to do because they got the resources with Google behind them. So, which is a good thing. So, if you can't edit your website, oh well, it's not going to break the deal. As long as your customers can access your websites, fill out a lead inquiry and you get the lead. That's all that matters at the end of the day currently at the moment. So most of you guys are kind of slow, so like some of my agents. So I figured, hey, let's go over some of the tools. So I am going to share my screen on desktop too. Um, so hopefully you guys can all see my screen at the moment.
Got it. Yep.
Perfect. So what this is if you went into 21online.com, either in the search bar, type in Real Satisfied and it'll say Real Satisfied QA. You click on that or go into the right-hand side to the menu to Productivity Hub. And all of you should know where that is. Scroll down to Real Satisfied. It'll land you basically on the screen that you see. The reason I'm using Vera's account is because since I am not a selling agent, and so that means I have no testimonials, that means it will not allow me to create a widget. But there's a couple other things we want to go over because at the end of the day, what we want to do is get my agents and all of you and all your agents, if you're a broker or anybody or an admin in your office, is to get your agents ready for 2025 because like in my office, a lot of them will slow down. So this is a good time for education and training. So the first thing that you see on here, if you look, has all her information on the left-hand side, her name, phone number. We just want to make sure that all of that information is correct because a lot of times our agents don't go in here. They just see reviews go up and they never pay attention to say, hey, let me double check my account. If the phone number's right, if everything's right. And then if you notice on the page that they land, on hers, she has a title, Making Your Dreams a Reality, but she has no bio. So what happens is on her account, she doesn't have the option to tell visitors about herself. So if somebody lands on her profile, she has no bio, which is actually not a good thing because you want people to say, hey, this is who I am. Can you make the view a bit bigger? Oh, okay, give me 1 second. Thanks, Ann. I'm hoping I can make it a little bit bigger. Give me a second here. Is that better? I hope. Okay. So sorry, it's probably my screen resolution. So title is super important on Real Satisfied, of course, because it gets your headline like, hey, here, this is me. Your bio is super important because at the end of the day, you're going to share your reviews. When you share your reviews, and if you put them on your website, once we go over the widget, it'll take them to your profile page also. And then on your profile page, they'll read your bio, which is super important. And then seeing hers, she doesn't have her experiences. So people are not going to know if she's been in real estate for so many years, etc., etc. She put in her specialties in here, senior. Don't know what that actually means. If it's senior what. So that's where you have to get various commercial what, investment what. So this is where it doesn't give you an option to select and type specialties. You basically put in if she was a senior real estate specialist or if she was a probate specialist or if she deals with specific commercial or she has a designation. That's where
Exactly.
we put in the designations, the specialties, and everything. So somebody says, "Wow, okay, she not only sells residential real estate, she has certifications in them, but she also does investment, but she has an exact title, probate, short sale. I mean, these have to be refined. So that's something that I will talk to her and said, "Hey, you need to refine these." And hopefully she's watching um watches the video back. She couldn't be here. So your specialties will go here. Your certifications will go here. So like Mitz is just working on his SRES. And then of course
Got
he's
it.
gonna put in, see, oh, you already have it. Sorry, forgive me. Specialist. So let's say Vera was a senior real estate specialist. She would put her designations in here. So which is actually going to show people like, oh my God, this guy, this person is specializing in specific markets, but it also has certifications. The specialties, excuse me, also has to deal with your niche market. So remember, we don't want to put specialties, like buying, selling homes, etc., because you want to get specialized and known for specific niche markets. So a lot of you are going to have to do your homework. Says, okay, selling real estate is one thing, but do I specialize in luxury homes? Do I specialize in senior real estate specialists? So I help people transition. Do I specialize in upsizing, downsizing? What is it? Then any languages she speaks, any awards that she has, any education she wants to put, any interest she wants to put, if she's involved in any charities, and then of course, what areas does she service? So according to this, she services 5 zip codes. Tulare and Visalia and something else. So me looking at that would assume, oh, I guess she doesn't service Exeter or Lindsay. They may not call her because it doesn't, she says she doesn't service those markets. What it would have been different is maybe I could have gone and see it gives you the option to put in your city, town, state is optional, of course. This is how you would put this in. So of course you would put it in. So I maybe would have went to
Yeah.
California. And then so what I would have done if I was going through there, if I service different counties and everything within that county, because in Visalia and Tulare County, there's a whole list of zip codes. I'm not going to list them all. But if I can let my consumers know that I service Tulare County, which is my primary county where my brokerage is listed, maybe Fresno County, which is north of us, and I also cover Kings County, which is to west of us 20 miles. 10 miles makes the border. I would do that instead of listing cities. So then I'd be like, oh my God, she services 3 counties. Okay, maybe I'll call her. But if she only services 2 cities or 3 cities according to that list, and actually it is 2 cities according to that list, probably may pass her by because assuming she doesn't service the other area. It's super important. So if we're going to put something in there, let's make sure we put in the right data to people know that we service those markets. That's what I would do.
Hey,
Oh,
Bob,
it's
may I
community
interrupt you
marketing.
for just a sec?
Yes.
In that Anywhere meeting that happened yesterday, they were really talking about some of the things that you talked about expanding your area, your geographic area of specialty. Because in our office, we actually cover a lot of different cities, and you might need to add that in there just so that you can send a referral out through you. And I know you had mentioned that before, Bob, so I just want to bring that up. A lot of the things that you talk about in these meetings, they're talking about now. So I just
Right.
wanted to bring that up.
It's amazing how most people don't pay attention to what I say for a whole freaking year, but they'll see somebody on 21 Online's training and it's like bread butter. Like, wow, I didn't know that. But it is true.
Sorry,
So
Bob.
because what happens is most real estate agents when they work on their profiles or marketing, they're not thinking global, but they're thinking as a realtor. You cannot do that. You cannot think. You need to put your hat on and says, okay, what is the customer? and who are the customers I want to service and what are they looking for because that's what I need to specialize in. Or I need to show that, hey, I am a specialist that deals with people in maybe Cal Halfa loans or USDA loans. I specialize in USDA loans, and this is my specialty. Well, you got to put that content onto your website, of course, and then fill this bio out on Real Satisfy. So as you share these reviews, somebody's going to get curious when that review hits Facebook. They may want to look up your profile because they're looking for a realtor, and they're going to see a blank profile. So if you're going to use Real Satisfied, you might as well set it up. So this is your main landing page. So if you notice under social media, it highlights 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means those 4 accounts has been set up by her. The X has not, Google has not, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Yelp, Zillow, and the last one, I don't know what that is yet, but we'll look it up, has not been set up, Trulio. So those have not been set up. So where do we find those? If we go to publishing on the left-hand side, but let me go back one more. This is your home. So I'm going to step back just a little bit because this is important. Because at the end of the day, reviews are king, no matter how you look at it. The more reviews you get, the more positive reviews you get, most people are going to look at you over somebody else. Okay, this is your main landing page. So she has a 4.9. I had a conversation with her yesterday. She has 18 testimonials, 101 were delivered, only 30 were completed. So I asked her yesterday, when's the last time you've been in here? She couldn't answer that question. But look at this, 30. So she's got 70, almost 70 reviews that she hasn't even decided, hey, Mr. and Mrs. So and so. So I told her what you need to do is you need to, because it's all about marketing. You're going to show them that you have digital presence. You're involved in the community because that's what people are looking for. To says, hey, Bob, thank you for giving to the community. Thank you for volunteering because they appreciate that. This is the holiday season. So I told her, I said, we're doing a toy drive in the office. So this is what I need you to do. I need you. So what I did is out of the surveys, 27, 18 testimonials, we went to her survey tab and I said, you're going to click the 71 pending and you're going to find all of these people. So I told her you could either start at the bottom of the list or start at the top and work your way down. And all you have to do is write on where it says action and she can hit details and see the information if she needs to see more. And, just in case, like, okay, here's the house. Okay, I remember October. But I told her you need to contact Moises and Araceli and says, hey, just reaching out to you, wish you a happy holidays. By the way, I noticed that I had sent a survey in September to you, and I was wondering if I could resend it out to you, and would you be willing to fill it out for me, please? Truly appreciate it because that'll help me grow my business in 2025. And thirdly, we are doing a toy drive to support victims of domestic violence at our office and would love your support. So if you're out and about and can maybe purchase a blanket, blah, 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 whatever meal you want to do, you want to show them that, hey, I need your help because you're going to do in the review. You're going to help me grow my business. Second of all, happy holidays. Now I got a chance to call my past clients and have a reason to call them. And third, showing them how much you're involved in the community by asking for their help. So I told her, I said, you need to go through these 70 within the next week or two because my toy drive finishes on the 15th. But I need you to call them, worst comes to worst, to wish them a happy holiday and ask them, do you mind if I can resend a survey? Because this is what's going to help grow her business. And it's sad, there's 70 people that never replied to a review. Okay, so once we go home, profile surveys, testimonials, this is where you could see all the testimonials, which is fine. You just go through. She has one right here that came in on October 12th that she hasn't approved yet, which is sad also, because now you got a review. So she would have to click on the review plus button. And what that will do is bring up this screen because it popped up in a separate window. So I'm like looking around where it disappeared. It's going to pop up this, and here's the review. She can decide she wants to change the color of the background, of course. Let's just leave it gold and keep this private or let everybody see it. No, I want everybody to see it. Confirm. Okay. Is it going to post to Vera Lupian's Facebook? Yep. Post to Instagram. Yep. And we don't have yeah, it doesn't have LinkedIn set up. So it's asking you, is this where you want it published? And you're going to confirm. And now that one I was waiting is getting posted now. But I bet you if some of you that's on this call go into that account, you probably have some that you haven't approved. Because you probably did, it's out of sight, out of mind. You're not paying attention to it because it's not something you go into every single day. So that is how you post it. So these are all of her reviews. But if we go to publishing, this is the important part. She's already connected her Realtor.com account. That's the number one thing that most agents should do. As soon as they're a brand new agent or onboarded to Century 21, connect your Realtor.com account and it'll teach you. Just hit connect and it'll walk you through it. Connect if you have Facebook, if you have X, if you have Instagram, if you have LinkedIn. And most people are missing the boat on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the professional network to network with individuals. This is the one that if you have a LinkedIn, you better start using it to connect. Then you got, of course, your Google, your Zillow, your Facebook reviews, WordPress plugin we cannot use because we don't have the option to add a plugin to our own platform. And that's a good thing because I know a lot of you have been asking me, hey, can I add this? And can I add? I'm like, no, you're never going to manage, you're never going to update it, and it's going to get hacked and we're going to have a problem. So, no. But this is the one that you want right here, this website widget, bottom left-hand corner. You are going to click on that widget, and I created one, so I'm going to create a new one. Create one. It says, okay, what do you want? Do you want it as a slider? And here's your option. Do you want it as a carousel? Like, okay. Would you like this to be a list? You're like, probably not, depending on now, list might be good if you're putting it on a page by itself. Then that page, all it is that page. I wouldn't recommend that on the home page. Or do you want it as a grid? Like that. I like the grid. Or if you're looking at it, a lot of agents, what they did is they put it right above the search bar at the top of their website. Right below it, they put their reviews and then the search property. So then if you did that, then you want the carousel because it's not taking up a lot of space. Then you come in and says, which one do you want? Most recent. How many maximum do you want it to show? Do you want the header and the footer to show? So the header, it says she has her picture. You can say footer only. Now it takes the header out. Or you can just say, I want both. And the footer is down here, powered by Realsatisfied. What background do you want? So you could actually customize the background. But now remember, when you do the background, this section stays the same. So I would probably just keep it white. Ratings, overall only, all of them or none. So I would say all, automatic scrolling or manual. So they have to manually click. Date, do you want to show or hide? Headshot, do you want to display or hide? And what font do you want to use? That is it. It is as simple as you can get. So let's say we were going to do a carousel, and I know we can't load it on the website, and we want to show a maximum of 20. So as it's scrolling, it'll show 20 down, and it's going to scroll by itself. All you do is once you figure out those settings, you're going to hit this button that says Save Widget on the bottom left-hand side, and we're going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Test 2 for her. Then I'll go back and erase them all before I confuse her. And we are going to hit Save. And all you are going to do, if you've been paying attention to any of my website training, is you're going to drag a full row to the bottom of your website, wherever you want, which has the HTML widget. And as soon as this websites go live, I will promise you, I will get back and show you where to load the widget. On your website, you copy and paste that code wherever you paste it, that widget will show up. You post it on 5 pages, it'll show up on every single 5 page. So now you got your reviews showing on your website, and it's really powerful for your agents to do because they're not paying for a third-party application because reviews are super important. You just copy that code and paste it. Once you paste it, it's going to show up on your website. Super simple. Anybody have any questions? No, Mitz?
That's
No?
pretty
Okay.
awesome.
Okay. Now, Mitz, of course, are you logged into MoxiEngage? Can you log in on your end?
Not a second. Would you like me to get logged in?
Yes, sir. Since
Okay,
you
let me see
actually
if I.
use MoxiEngage more than anybody, more than me. But what I'm going to cover real quick is I'm going to have Mitch go over the main layout here. What I want you guys to do is pay attention to when you get into your Moxie account, this little cogwheel on the far right-hand corner under your picture. Most of you will never click that button. Well, the problem with that button is, there you go. Okay. Sorry, Vanessa. Had to turn your video off. I was getting sidetracked. Okay, cogwheel right here. When you click on that, this is your automated settings. So the thing about this one is super important. As a brand new agent, every single one of you should go into this section, set this up. The reason why is this is where you automate, do a lot of the automation. So the first one, like it says, is when you get a lead, hey, do you want an automatic email to go to that lead? If I was a realtor, absolutely yes. Because my brokerage says if you get a lead, you got 4 hours to update that lead. Whether you send an email, whether you call them and text them and update them in MoxiEngage. Well, guess what? If this email goes out automatically the minute I get a lead, it counts as my first update. I just bought myself 4 hours. I'm like, yes, I'll call them later because now I don't have to go back into Engage and up that lead based on my brokerage rules. So this is where you would automate this. The neighborhood news automatic sign up, do not turn that on. The reason why neighborhood news is great, this will take their zip code based on the zip code of the MLS that they're looking at and set up a neighborhood news for the entire zip code. If I was a realtor, I want to make sure that if I set up a client, let's say Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie Taylor. If I set up Stephanie, I'm going to make sure I call her and says, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to set you up on neighborhood news and I want to verify your neighborhood. What is the name of your subdivision?" Because that is the most important part if you're trying to go after sellers. You want them to say, "I know you're not looking to sell, Stephanie, but I'd love to set you up on this new tool, which will let you know every time there's an active pending or sold in your neighborhood, your exact neighborhood, and let you know what the price per square foot is." So when you get ready to move, you will know if the time is right. Okay, so now she set up her potential sellers in a specific neighborhood, which could be her niche market. See, because if she's working in a niche market, that specific neighborhood she's focusing on or specific areas. So if she sets them up, she's automatically got emails going out to these potential sellers, which is super powerful. So you don't want to do an auto. You want to reach out because then I was having a conversation with somebody today and they said, you know what? I hate texting. I said, yes, me too. I'm a tech guy. Do not text me. Most of my agents will know you text me on the weekend, I am not calling you back. I am not texting you back because most of the time they already figured out the problem if I wait an hour to call them back. So I just wait, just wait. And at the end of the day, I'm like, if it was that important, you would have called me. So I don't like texting either. So let's go back to Task Manager. This one's a little bit, this is a marketing plan right here that if you have a lead and you move them through the pipeline and it says, okay, this person is a buyer now, then there's 57 tasks that you set yourself up to do within 121 days. But what I'll do is I'll show up on your flow. But we're not going to get into this one. It gets a little complicated. We're going to go back and visit this one. This is the one that's super important is the calendar one. The reason why is if you add a birthday to a particular lead and you click edit, this is what it says. You can tell it, remind me 5 days, 3 days, 1 day, a week, or 2 weeks every year that Bob's birthday is coming up. 5 days before. Any of your leads, it'll show on your calendar in Moxie and you're like, great, I want to know because I want to be able to call somebody 5 days before, even if it's 4 days. Hey, Shanna, I know your birthday is coming up in 4 days, but I'm going to be out of town. I may forget. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. That is super powerful. But if not, if we don't set that on, you're never going to remember your clients' birthdays ever. Okay, the other one you could set in is auto add. For some reason, as soon as you add them manually on their profile and you put in their birthday, it automatically will add them to remind you every 5 days before every year. You don't have to manually do it. The second one is their anniversary. So for some reason, if somebody's having a conversation, you're like, yeah, our wedding anniversary was last week. Well, congratulations. What day was it? You're like, boom, I'm going to remember that. So when you remember that one, you're going to go in and says, okay, if anybody has an anniversary date in my calendar, I want to be reminded a week before. So I can wish them a happy anniversary. That's the personal touch. How many realtors call their past clients and wish them a happy anniversary? Probably zero. So think about that one. There's another one, an auto ad. You could turn it on if you add it to their profile. The third one, which is super powerful also, is your house anniversary, the day they got the keys. Super important because you could always say, hey, Mitt, it's been 2 years. How's everything going at your new home? And by the way, happy house anniversary. And now you're basically prospecting with your past clients. So this will automate it and you just tell it, hey, I want to be reminded. And yes, auto add it if it's in there. Yes, do you want to do it to everybody? Yes, I do. If I add their dates, and now this is all automated. It'll remind you every year for every new lead. Now, the other one is notifications via email. It says, hey, if you set up people in neighborhood news, would you like to know when they unsubscribe? Yes. Because I can call back and say, hey, Shannon, I'm so kind of curious. You unsubscribed to the neighborhood news. Was it too much or was there something going on? But it gives me an excuse to call her instead of me just calling out of the blue. And then this one's really cool because it gives you a weekly update report on what's happening with everybody in your neighborhood news. So that's actually really cool. So leave those on. And then you go to subscriptions. See down here, the last three settings. On the neighborhood news, when you set somebody up, this is what'll go out. This is the message that'll be in their email. It'll automatically put a link to their feed, etc. So don't worry about the zip code. It'll automatically do it. But here is where you can actually edit what you wanted to say. You don't want to get rid of reply through the link in the full report, but you want to look at it and say, okay, it looks good, but let me just change a few words. Once you do that, you don't need to do a create a link because it's already on your website. It says neighborhood news on the top right-hand corner. And you don't need to set up a special widget because it's there. The only time you set up a separate widget is if you're going to install it on another website that you have that you're working on. Okay. Then listing announcements. If you set up people for listing announcements, this is the message that's pre-written. So you can go next, 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 next. Because it's already written. You already rewrote it. You don't have to rewrite it every single time, which saves you a lot of time. Okay, so that's you do that for that. You do the same thing for just sold, and you do the same thing for just sold buyer. You just edit that message. So if you're sending something to them, the message automatically pops up, which you already rewrote, and you go next and next and send. Makes your life a little bit easier. Once you do these, that'll make it easier. Now we're going to go back to the dashboard because I'm going to have Mitz explain the dashboard because since he uses MoxiEngage a lot. So Mitz, you want to share your screen?
Sure.
I'm kind of throwing him under the bus. He didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm on the
Um,
chat for you, buddy. Don't worry.
okay. Am I on the right screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Bob loves throwing me under the bus, so that's my part in life. You know, you got to know where you stand in life. So basically, the dashboard is where you would go to do all your initial planning for the day. It incorporates your Google Calendar, your leads, and your tasks and to-dos. So you might as well go here if you're gonna, get organized every day. These little widgets on the side will kind of move around, the order in which your dashboard is set up. I like to have my sales flow on there, just so that I know where I stand, what I've got in the different buckets. Obviously, I have to do a little bit more marketing because my prospects and my other activities are a little bit low right now. So the stay in the flow is one of the things that I think is most beneficial. It always pulls up 5 leads out of your lead contacts and asks you to reach out to them. You can do a phone call, send them a neighborhood news, add them to a campaign, whatever you like to do, but just kind of gets you in the motion of doing something with these clients that end up at your cycle. Bob always likes to elaborate that each one of these different widgets has a setting button. So you can set these to go off different times in which they appear in the stay in the flow. So they should move around once you make the changes and whatnot. So if you wanted to maybe reach out to everybody every 30 days instead of 60 days, or if you've got too many clients, maybe 90 days. So
So
Bob, interrupt. I
not
mean,
to interrupt, Mitch, the important on that one, guys, is anybody in your brokerage that's new, they need to set that to 30 days because they need to reach out to clients every 30 days and especially filter if they're brand new leads, etc., because they don't have any business. So we want to make sure that they touch bases with their clients all the time and get into a rhythm. Now, some of you that are seasoned agent, you have a routine already. You may set this that I need specific categories. I want to be reminded, but not all of them, but maybe 90 days because I already have a system in place. But brand new agents don't. So when I'm doing training with my agents, I set it for 30 days. I said, you're going to reach out to these people, and it's only 5 people a day. One way or another, you're going to reach out to them and update it in Moxie. That's all I need you to do for the next 30 days. 5 people, and then start adding people. So, sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
yeah, the stay in the flow is kind of a nice small outreach. It's kind of weird. I see a lot of agents that are probably pretty new, and all of a sudden they dump in 1,000 people into their database, like the farm and location. It's not quite built for that kind of random thing. It's maybe like your sphere of influence, people that you know, and it'd be a lot easier for you if you did it that way, and maybe just put in 100 people or something like that, then rather than 1,000 or something. Anyway, the recent contacts, these are the things that come up at people that open emails, things like that. So obviously, I have to back, go check on these people on things that I've recently done and reached out to. The to-do list is just a reminder. When you go into a client, you can make a to-do and have that come up in your to-do list. Like let's say you had to redo a search or show a property. This is a referral listing that came out a while ago, so I just had to call Steven. I had called him, but I just have not checked it off my to-do list. Calendar events, we got Moxie Hour with Bob. All this stuff mirrors the things that you have on your Google Calendar. So if you've got it on there, it should appear on there. I don't know, is there house anniversaries, all those other things will line up on there. Obviously, it works because on the flip side, when I go to my Google Calendar, the house anniversaries and things like that pop up at the very top of my Google Calendar. So, and then listings and things that you've been doing, that all show up in there. Whatever your goals that you set, that's in there as well. And then the transactions and closings for your day. I think that's something new, isn't it? I don't remember seeing that on there. But all these things can be moved around. So if you don't like the order in which I have it, all you have to do is grab these widgets and go up and down, and they'll appear in the order in which you'd like on your dashboard. Anything else you want to add, Bob?
No, did a good job. Anybody have any questions in chat for Mitch? It doesn't look like anybody
Not
has.
for Mitch, Bob.
Whatever. All good, Mitch?
It's pretty straightforward. Actually, the widget thing, the real satisfied. Honestly, Bob, I don't go there that often. I really do need to check to see if everything's been updated. So that was another thing that the Anywhere meeting had mentioned. If you haven't visited your website in a while, you might want to update your content, refresh what's going on with the market, things like that. Because just like a blog, your information's got to be pretty fresh.
Yep, thank you.
Hmm.
So just so I'm following you correctly, the Real Satisfied is updated or I guess independent of Dash. So it's not like they I guess communicate with each other.
Say that one more time.
Like as far as their profiles and pictures, what goes into Real Satisfied like is is that independent from Dash? So in other words, like if they have those things in Dash, it doesn't feed over into Real Satisfied.
What it does is if the listings that show completed in
Mhm.
Dash will let Real Satisfied know that there's a survey that needs to go out
Okay.
because the
But like the
transaction
pictures and
closed. And
I don't
then
know why I
it gets
thought they
sent
talk
out.
to each other.
Yeah, they do talk. When you close the transaction, it does.
Right, but I mean, as far as like the agent information or their profile or whatever, so we probably have a bunch
No,
of
well,
agents that
some of
have
it
no
will, but
profile.
ideally I tell them go into Real Satisfied and just hit the pencil marks and just adjust it yourself. Because it is a
Okay,
separate portal, so it's not it'll take the basic, but if you need to make changes, and technically I would put it in Real Satisfied and then let your admin know, hey, can you change these things on Dash so it syncs to the other platforms so all your data is consistent. Yes.
okay, so that was extremely helpful for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you change it in Real Satisfied, will it change in Dash? I don't think so. It goes one way. So if it was me, I'd update it in both. All good so far? Okay, Mitch, I'm going to take the screen back over if you don't mind. What'd you say? You're muted.
Bob, Lucy asked where Real Satisfied's located at, and I'm just drawing a blank right now. It's in the hamburger menu under what is the topic again? It's where the tools are at. Um,
Anyone online?
Yeah,
well, it's in 21 online, yes, but I mean, what's the
under
menu
the
heading?
productivity hub,
Under
and then it
Productivity
says
Hub.
like
Thank
real
you.
satisfied,
You know, I
but
I
you
did
can't.
not. I broke my cup this morning, and I did not have coffee. So.
Yeah, no, it's under the Productivity Hub, or if you're in 21online.com in the search bar at the top, that's there and almost every page. Just type in Real Satisfied until your Real Satisfied QSS comes up. Click on that, it'll take you right into Real Satisfied. Or the Productivity Hub, where most of you should have and should be going, where all your tools are located. It's near the bottom under R. So it's in there. The other thing we wanted to cover, I know real quickly, is go into MoxiPresent because we have a lot of new brokerages coming on board and a lot of new agents coming on board. And most people will create a basic presentation, but they don't know that there's an option to customize those settings. So I am going to go in and just create a new seller presentation. And I'm just going to pick the default seller template and I'm just going to continue and just call it training and create. All I'm going to do, I'm just starting a presentation. Um, so at the moment, what I'm not going to do is worry too much about all the properties. So this section right here, subject, just like you would do in the MLS, you would find the data from an MLS listing or a title company and says, okay, let me start putting in the address, whatever address the property is located. Let me make sure we get all that information because at the end of the day, I need to verify this information with the seller to make sure it's still correct. We're going to put in counties, communities, if you know the school district. And then you're going to go through here and put in the property type. I want to make sure that when I talk to the client, it is a 4 bedroom and 2 full bath. It is 1,850 square feet, whatever lot size it is. And you're going to fill in all this data because when you have that meeting with the client, you're going to say, hey, I just want to verify this data. They're like, oh, Bob came in prepared because maybe somebody else came in before you, didn't go over all that information. But you want to, if you get the listing, want to make sure that, wait, your home is 2,100 square feet. The records show 1,850. Maybe they had a remodel that never got recorded. You don't know. Once you get past this point, then this is going to show in your presentation. You're going to go to the bottom and hit continue. And then what it's going to do is going to pull up a map where you're going to go through. And just like in the MLS, well, I'm looking for bedroom homes or 4-2. So what this system does, since we put in a 4-2, it says, okay, we need to find comps that are 3 to 5. Since we put in a 2 bathroom, we need to find comps that have a 1 to 3 bathroom. That's how you find a comp, the law of average, high and low. When we put in the price, 1850, it says, okay, let's look for homes that are 16 to 2100. So it's doing all the work for you. You just got to figure out in here which properties in this list is what you want to use as a comp. So I'm just gonna just go through this real quick and just pick 4 random properties. Let's say these are the properties I want to use when I go with the seller. We're gonna hit continue. And then right after the holidays, we'll do a MoxiPresent 101 from beginning to end. So don't worry. Here's all the properties. And of course, on the right, it says, hey, Here's the high, lows, and mediums of your active. 380, the high was 390, so the average is 385. On your sold, the low was 325, the high was 369, so the average is 348. You're like, okay. And it's doing the math for us. And then if we hit continue, what it's going to do is going to say your home is ideally should be targeted at 364 due to the price of this data and all this data. So if you're like, okay, that's about right, but I wanted to go 349. Okay, we'll go to 349. Okay, fine. You adjust it there and hit continue. Most people will stop at this site and hit send. Now, what you realize is if you notice that every place that you see a pencil mark is an option to edit. If I go on this one, I can edit and says, okay, do I cover title? What title do I want? Okay. Let's say just put trade. Do you want to show the presentation name or not? Do you want to show your picture or not? Do you want to show the cover photo or not? If you do, would you like to add a picture? That'll change the background behind training. So you can customize your presentation to look super cool compared to everybody in your office. So if they're paying it, if they're not here, then guess what? You're gonna upload a picture and make it your background image. So if I had, let's say that one, I'm gonna make that my background image. Would you like to add the address? Would you like to show the date? Now, web cover design, mirror the PDF cover. So this is the cover down here. I can change the PDF cover to any one of these four. So if you guys always get this top cover as your PDF when you print it and you didn't know, like, how do I change it? Well, now you knew. You could say, well, I want this cover. So now this is going to be the PDF cover sheet. So you could change it on every design. It's kind of cool. So you're just customizing everything that you want. Okay, so once you get done, I could decide to mirror the PDF cover for the web cover design. So if I do that and make it Denny, I am going to exit that section and see there's a little cogwheel. Now my cover has changed. So now if you're used to sending the same cover sheet, you just changed it. If you notice under property, there's nothing. Listing map location, there's a pencil mark. It says, hey, do you want listing reference page? Print only. So do you want a page that has a reference to the listing that you're trying to go after? Or if you hit no, it's not going to show it. It's only going to show the comps. Okay, we're going to skip that one. That's not what super important. You're going to go to listing overview, which is a super important part. This one. If you're comping 5, 6 different properties and all of them have 100 pictures each, you're going to have a lot of extra pages of photos. 20 pictures, I think it's 16 or 20 pictures per page. So when you print that PDF, guess what? You got a lot of color print. If you turn this off, you can say, basically you're saying, I just want the listing sheet with one picture and all the listing data, and I don't want all the extra photos. That's how I would do it. The reason why is, you know what? I'm sending them the online version. Let them go look at the online version. They can see all the full screen. Why do I need to create an additional sheet that has little pictures? You can't make out the detail anyway. You're sending them an online version. Now, so if it was me, I would turn it off to save yourself some paper. So turn that section off. Now, the other one is when you do side by side and status comparison, you got to remember when you do a status comparison, if your client starts looking at all this data, you're like, oh my God, they got to look at all this data. And I hope to God they don't ask me a question. Very true, right, Mitz? Because they could ask a question. Hey, can you explain this to me? Or how come this section is blank or etc. You hit this pencil mark right here and you tell it, I don't want year built or days on the market to show. Under pricing, I don't need tax year, tax amount. I don't need percentage of list price, adjusted price. Under section features, I don't want it to show waterfalls, roof, exterior, fuel. Makes no sense. They're like, what is fuel? And then you're gonna sit there like, I don't know what that field is for. That doesn't sound very credible. Floors, parking, skip parking. We don't have basements in our area. And we're going to do that in the neighborhood section. I didn't fill in all this, but I'm going to leave the school district. And we're going to leave those two, community, and we're going to do that. So if you do that, uncheck it, the fields that you unchecked are going to disappear from this list. They'll be taken out, which is cool. And the same thing on status. When you do the same thing on status, there's fields all the way here. If they start scrolling, they may start asking you a lot of questions. So what you can do is you can go do the same thing under status, decide which fields you don't want it to show. List price, days on the market, I don't want that. The sold price, which is fine. And anything else you want to get rid of, you can get rid of. Dollar per square foot, let's say, just for training. And I'm going to exit out. This whole report, see, it just shortened by that much. That's all the data I need them to see because I need to see them in person. You're going to send this. I don't want to discount the potential seller and give them so much data. They're like, well, that's too much for me and a little complicated. I want to give them the least amount of information so they get curious to contact me so I can meet them in person and go over everything else. Because sometimes you give them too much, you lose them. You do. Listing averages, everywhere there's a pencil mark, you can adjust. Price on days on the market, you can adjust. It says, hey, if I hit that pencil mark, do you want to show a trend line? And do you want to show a reference to the listing on the print only? If for some reason you have already gone through all of this and adjusted it, and you decide, hey, I don't need price by size, hit the X. I don't need the days on the market because I don't need to show them that. They're not going to understand that. And I don't need the net proceed. And you've already adjusted all of this, go down here, please, and do me a favor, hit save and create this as a template. Name it, and you can use that exact layout, exact the way it is with all the fields taken out, and just decide that I want this anytime I create it for a buyer, seller, buyer tour, or property review. I don't want those additional fields to show up on those pages on the web version or the print version. And then you hit save, and then now test. Every time you do a presentation, brand new one, like let's say here to new, and it's going to be a seller, let's say, I'm going to continue. I am going to go and select my template and select the one that I just saved as test somewhere down here. There it is, right there. And see, it only has those pages. That is it. So now I go in, create this, give it a name, find the comms, but all the fields are taken out. All the extra pages are taken out. It's going to make your life so much easier. So questions on MoxiPresent, because I know I went really fast and I don't want to lose everybody. Anybody?
If nobody does, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You know, on that listing average, where they show kind of like the graph with just kind of a line going through it. I mean, you have a lot of pull, Bob. You should ask him to do a property like bar chart with the original list price and like, the sales price or like days on the market or something like that. I would like that a lot more than this just kind of ambiguous graph that's on there. Everything's very impressive except for that one graph. I mean, I know it makes sense, but it's just I always take it out because it just doesn't fit the presentation in a lot of cases.
This one right here?
The pricing analysis, I think it's the one below it.
Oh, this
Wait
one.
a minute. No, no, no. There's one with a straight line through it. Or is it status? Is it?
That was
No, further
the
down.
30D averages by bedroom and bath and stuff like that. I took those out.
No, no, no. There's one more. I know it was on your presentation.
This one?
What's below?
Are you talking about like the
Oh
days
gosh, it
on
was a straight line. It's like
days on
days on
market or
market versus
whatever?
price.
Yeah, I took it out.
Oh, you took it out. Okay, yeah. I usually take that one out too, but I would really like a vertical bar graph with the original sales price versus like, the current list price or the sales price. That would be really cool.
Hey, Mitch, you
Uh,
know
so,
there's a support.moxiworks that says feature request, right?
oh, is that right? Well,
Yeah.
now I do.
Okay, good. Then me and Shanna and everybody else on this call is going to expect you to go put in that support ticket and give us an update on the next training.
Okay, well, if you happen to see it in the next presentation, you can thank me. Okay, but
Does that anybody have any questions at all? I know this was fast, but just wanted to show some of you that hey, there's a lot of automation you can do on all of this stuff that'll help you in 2025 because you created your present template like, oh, it's set. Now I just gotta find comps and send it. Yes, we didn't cover adding pages, but if you wanted to add pages like we did with Toolkit CMA, you would just go to add pages from library and then Century 21. And there's your Toolkit CMA listing presentation. And you could be like, huh, okay, I need to add your listings nationwide. Right now, they're doing a migration, but see this one, you like, I want to add that one. Okay, hit add. So it's added. Close this out. Now, if I go back to my pages, um, where is your listings nationwide? There it is. Now I gotta just go through and says, where am I gonna put this? Maybe right before my profile picture, I can have that conversation. So then if I go and share this presentation with a client, you know that, see, we changed the cover, so it looks different now, not than in the standard. This is your summary. It also gives you an option when we did that, it didn't cover it, to add your picture. The cool thing about Moxie Present is the information that you fill in on the property detail is the only ones that show. So it's not going to show a lot of fields blank, but you really need to fill it as much as you can because this is how you're going to verify the data. But see, if we go back here, here's all the ones that we streamlined. We streamlined only this information because that's all I need them to see for now because I want them to talk to me. And your pricing analysis, of course, the picture we didn't add. Your listings nationwide. And of course, your bio. That's where you basically would add pages. You just find the pages you want and add them. And now you save that as a template. Now you never have to add those pages again because you've already customized all of this. Every time you do a presentation, you just find your comps and go next, 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 email. Trust me, it'll make your life so much easier if you start creating templates. Okay. Any questions at all?
Hey, Bob, could you stick around? I think Sandra wanted to say something to you.
Was it bad?
I have a
Sandra?
That's my office manager in Fresno, so sorry. I always give her a hard time.
Hey Bob, I have a quick question. If you're doing a listing presentation, you've got a picture of a house on the cover sheet, but then you've also got the template for it said what? The property information. So if you go on Google Maps and you grab a picture of the house for the listing presentation, where do you put that in? Under property information or the cover sheet?
One thing I would never do is go grab a Google Map photo. I would have already driven that neighborhood and I already took a picture because I already would have known to have a conversation. Hey, Lynn, I noticed that, at 3 o'clock, you guys get a lot of traffic in your neighborhood. Is that because the school gets out? Or do you have a lot of construction going on? But typically, I would not add it. But you're talking about,
If you want to make it look like, oh, she drove over and took a picture of our house, and now it's in my report. It's just an extra personal touch, but where would that fit in? Under the property information? Where can you add a
right
picture?
here. This is where you would add it. Right here. Upload picture.
Okay, let me take a screenshot.
Right under your subject property. That's where
Info
that
auto
photo
set.
would go.
I never want to take a picture with my phone. I take it. I just put a generic, really good picture.
Yeah. So that's where
Actually,
that
on my
picture would
cover
go.
sheet, but it's not
Right.
property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. What's up, Sandra? Say hi.
Hi everyone. Oh, I'm gonna put my two cents worth on that picture right there. So I don't like to take pictures with my cell phone of the house because I'm deathly afraid that they'll think that that's the quality of pictures that they're gonna get. So I have a generic picture of a kitchen that is like beautiful, and I put that every time. And Mitz does too.
Any picture would work as long as,
You
but
could
don't
do
do a Google
anything.
picture. Yeah, don't do a Google.
Right.
I agree. Anything else out there, people?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
All good? No questions?
I'll just talk to Bob afterwards.
Oh, okay. All righty.
So if you guys
All right, everyone, have a great one.
if you guys pay attention to the chat and scroll to the beginning, I believe I put my contact information in there. And I also added our Jordan Link YouTube channel link. That's where Mitz and I, once Workplace shuts down until they figure out which platform to move in. When we do our training, we're going to add it to our YouTube channel. So you guys are welcome to visit it. It should still be in the chat. Mitz, can you verify it's still in the chat?
Let's see.
It should be all the way at the beginning.
I don't think I was even there at the beginning, so yeah, I don't have it either.
Come on, Mitz.
Sorry, I was getting on a little late this morning.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here's the YouTube channel. I just posted it before you guys get off. And here is my phone number and email address if you need it. Feel free to give me a reach out, shout out. I want to make sure we all stay connected until we figure out which platform everybody's going to be on, because we all need each other's help to grow our business. So one team. Right, Sandra?
Twice.
All good?
Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay, you guys
Happy
have a great
holidays.
weekend. Happy holidays.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you.
You're welcome.
Don't leave, Bob.
Bob, are you doing training every Thursday this month, or is this the last one for December?
Now, Mitch, are we still doing the next 2 Thursdays?
We could if you wanted to.
Yeah,
think
we
you
probably
guys should.
will. I mean, we don't, yeah, because everything else is slowing down. I think we will. Like maybe we'll just, because we're gonna have to put some fresh content on YouTube. Maybe we'll do a full-blown Engage, and the next one a full-blown Moxie Present. We can't go in. Oh,
Okay.
maybe. Wait, hold on. Moxie website will be up.
You guys should take some time off.
I did. I was off yesterday.
I know, but you should take some time off. The agents are checked out.
No, we're not.
No, we just put
Not all of them.
We're gearing up.
Not all of them.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great day. Hey, Sandra, you want to just call me?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, on our platform, can you add a email box? Would that be possible?
To do what?
You know, the platform that you're building, could you add an email box?
I know, but what's the email box? What is it supposed to
Just
do?
like where we can hook up, like if we're on the platform, then we could just check our email real quick.
Your own email?
Our own
Gmail?
email.
A link to gmail.com?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all use Gmail, right? Everybody here uses
It should
Gmail.
be.
Yes, I'll do that. I'll add it today.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm
Okay.
excited because I'm gonna start using it.
Got it. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
That's you,
Lynn.
Bob.